Hi, everybody. Welcome to All Things Metaphysical podcast with Kellie and Gail. Today is May 2nd, 2023.
Yep, it is.
So, welcome, everybody. If you guys have questions or things that you want us to talk about, please put it in the comments section. Also, please like and subscribe our channel on YouTube. It's always appreciated. And hello to our viewers who have tuned in.
Sorry.
Also, Kellie and I were talking because I got this intuitive hit that we were both supposed to share things that we've written in the past. And a lot of things are about comfort today. That was not the direction we were going to go. We were going to talk about something else. But it seems like comfort is a really big thing right now that so many people need help with as we're going through these times of transition. So, Kellie, you want to go first with what you wrote, or you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sure, make me go first.
Of course.
So, I'm going to read something from Jesus and the Jewish Girl book. And it's funny because I pulled out my books and this is what I opened to. So I'm going to trust that this is what I'm supposed to share with all of you. So this was a message from Jesus. And he said, "My message was always clear. My message was about love, empowerment, and being the light beings that you are. You have all been caught in the cycles of power and darkness on the earth plane. It is time for humanity to connect and remember you are all aspects of the divine. It is time for humanity to experience all the gifts that humans really have and are. It is time to look from a more global connection. It is time to look from a more global connected experience. When humanity joins together, much can be accomplished. Also, it is important to discern if you are using the power of light or the power of the darkness. The momentum will work in either direction. Choose wisely." And then after I wrote that, I wrote, "This makes me think about the power of the words from the Star Wars movies. The force is with you. Important to think about which force you are tapping into."
Sorry. This is going to be one of those shows where I cough all the way through it because there's smoke in the
So
air.
those of you who are watching us live, any thoughts to that or any reactions to that? And I know Kellie and I don't usually share from projects that we've done and things like that. But today it seemed really important to do. So just honoring that intuition. And Kellie's just the whole show, so I'm going to just keep talking. So
It's just the smoke gets in my. I
mm,
still smell it, and I haven't been out in it in a while. But anyway, yeah. So it's going to be a bad allergy day for me.
yeah, it happens. I'm coming to you live on Tuesday instead of Wednesday because I don't know if I'm going to have internet tomorrow. So, and I know this was our week for our show, so we wanted to honor that as well. So again, I
Yeah.
can see that we have quite a few people watching us live. If you have questions or
Yay.
comments or things you want to talk about, please put it in the comment section and we will address it. Try to relax your throat, Kellie.
Yeah, easier said than done. Um, what did you want me to read? What I wrote this morning?
Well, I didn't know whatever you wanted to share because you are a very talented writer.
Well, this is one that I actually did write today. I don't normally post them right after I write them,
Mhm.
but today felt like I should because I'm actually halfway through yet another poetry book. So this I keep track of them. But anyway, she receives a call from an old friend. He has read the latest poetry she sent him and is convinced she should let him put music to her words. But she's heard all this before, so she pays little attention to what he says. She finishes the call and pours another cup of coffee and watches as her tears splash into the black liquid. Truly, she has no information about the source of these tears, so she ignores them until the images flood her mind and she realizes what they're for. Welcoming the ever deepening healing that signals things are about to change. Her throat welcomes the warm liquid flowing down, just like her eyes welcome the tears, and she takes a deep breath that leads to the deep sigh that tells her she isn't finished yet. That was this morning.
Oh, that's powerful.
It's kind of every time I write something that is very closely related to something I've gone through and I post it, I hear from about 20 people that it's just what they needed to read. They are going through something similar. And that always takes me by surprise. And yet you'd think I'd be used to it. But no, I'm not.
It's funny how spirit works and how spirit works through you. Because, like I said, we were going to talk about completely different things today, and then like 20 minutes before, I'm like, no, we really need to talk about comfort. And they're like, and you both need to share. Because we share our ideas and we share our thoughts and we'll share channelings that come through, but we oftentimes don't share from projects that we've already done. And I think that it's important to be authentic and be proud of what you've accomplished and what you've done. And
Yeah.
for a lot of people, that's difficult to do. And I'll just share. So I got a call from I got a call today from a recruiter from LinkedIn because apparently I
Okay.
still have my resume up there and I've never taken it down. And she's like, you would be perfect for this position. And I'm like, okay. So she emails me what it is. And I'm like, thank you. So I just wrote back and I'm like, I'm just going to be honest with you. This isn't a position I want right now. I really appreciate you reaching out to me and thinking that I have the skills to do this. And it is not something that I'm interested in. Usually I'll never close a door. Like
Right.
go through the interview and I'm like, well, maybe, but this time I'm like, no, I don't want to do that at all. What is the point of wasting anyone's time?
Right.
But I am so grateful for the universe today because, I've been going through periods, as most humans on the planet now are like, why am I really here? What am I supposed to do? What choices am I supposed to make or can make? I don't really like the word supposed to. So, really thinking about that, and what is it that you really want to do? What do you really want to put out there?
I think we should all be more mindful about what we are putting out there. There are some things happening that have gotten so many people so kind of discombobulated. I
Mhm.
can't tell you how many people I know that are saying kind of what you just said. Okay, I gave you my resume, but that was last year, and I'm a different person now, so I don't want to go down that road. And I think when that happens, that's the universe steering you. That's like, don't take the left turn, go straight ahead. We need to listen to that.
Yeah, like I said, I usually will at least do the interview because I think interviews are fun. I think it's fun to try and figure out how to answer their questions with, the direction that being intuitive helps tremendously too.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, no, I don't even want to do that this time. I want to honor myself. And I'm like, this is not a position I am interested in at all. And she's like, well, I hope, you'll continue to look back and see if anything opens up. And it was funny to me.
yeah.
And it was funny because, I work from home and we were talking about this and why the show is tonight is that I don't know if I'm going to have internet. So I've had to go to the office the last 2 days and I haven't been in the office in like a year. So it was really strange because people treated me very differently than they've ever treated me before that I ran into. And I'm just like, obviously, I needed to see this that my time away and just working quietly behind the scenes shifted how everybody sees me.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes, you get this information or you get this opportunity. Apparently, I'm on a soapbox. You get this opportunity to experience something different and then you have to decide how that's going to define you and what direction you're going to take that information. Hi everybody. We have a lot of people signing on. If you have questions, please put them in the comment. Apparently they want me to go back to the office. Yeah. Uh, um, it was a good experience. I didn't have any issues today. I was joking around with the people I saw.
Yep.
I
Well,
did all
that's
the work,
good.
and then I came home.
You definitely needed to see that.
Yeah. It says, Gail, your art, is that chalk on black paper? So really quickly, the mandalas I draw, and at some point I'm going to just do a Zoom mandala class. I'll charge a nominal fee, but I'll do a Zoom mandala class for all the people who want to do that. It's black paper with colored pencils, and I don't measure anything. I just start in the middle, and then the pattern just forms. I do have things that I trace. If you want to see how I draw the mandalas, if you go to my website, gail-alexander.com, there's 2 videos. You can watch me draw them. Because everyone always asked me, so I made a couple videos of me drawing them so people could see what it was like. They're very short. They're time-lapse videos. So you see it from beginning to end. So, yeah, so life. Life has been very interesting and very stressful. Everybody I know has been going through something in the last couple of weeks. By the time we got to May, things were going to be better. But
Yeah.
June,
Maybe June, maybe July.
so what's this next new moon all about? I haven't looked it up yet.
Isn't it a full moon on Friday?
I don't know. I don't keep track. I know that when I worked in behavioral health hospitals, you didn't need a calendar because you could always tell when it was a full moon as soon as you walked in the building.
Yep. Absolutely. And I've told the story about my client at the residential home I worked at, and she just every full moon she would be running down the street ripping her clothing off, and I'd have to go pick her up at the police station every single time. Yeah, it was even humorous to the police department after a while. Like, well, full moon coming up. Here comes Maddie ripping her clothes off. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, just lots of interesting things happening right now. Humanity is I'm sorry, I'm trying to talk and I'm reading the comments.
Right. I am too. Yeah.
I'm losing my track of thought, but that's what makes our podcast real. We're just here, we just show up, and we're just in whatever energy comes through while we're live.
Yeah. And, asking about the next full moon, it is kind of an auspicious one because there's a lot of celestial events going on around the same time. So, yeah, people are probably going to be feeling it a little bit more than just a normal full moon. So that should add to all the fun with all the hospitals and police.
People are giving you lots of suggestions to help.
I know. Thank you guys. I have horrible allergies. And there is a fire to the north of me, and the wind's coming from that direction too, so it's blowing all the smoke. And I was outside in the vineyard earlier, and I just did not come back inside soon enough. I felt it, and I was like, oh, I should go back in. And then I get distracted and I do something else, and now I am paying for it. So it's temporary. It'll be better by tonight.
Mhm.
Yep.
I think sometimes too, I mean, I'm not saying this isn't a allergy thing and a thing, but sometimes it's about sharing messages and stuff too. Like
That has happened too,
as,
but
you,
this is.
as you've started talking, the coughing has gone down.
Yeah. Well, sips of water and stuff do help. But it's also easing up because it's now been an hour since I've been out of the smoke. So it is starting to ease up.
I don't know what this is about, but my spirit team just said we should invent metaphysical bingo.
That'd be good. We could do that.
Like each number, you get a square and then you have to do whatever that says on that square. I'm writing it down. Metaphysical bingo. You gotta love when ideas come through. Then we'd have to have a Zoom meeting and play metaphysical bingo.
That would be interesting.
So you have to think about like different squares. Like I know I've done it for counseling before, and it's like if you land like say 05, you get have to say 3 positive affirmations or something. So it'd be really cool to turn that into a metaphysical thing or something.
I'm working on a board game for the Laley project.
Mhm.
So there is a company that does custom board games. We could totally do bingo. Totally.
Metaphysical bingo.
Yep.
I think that's a winner.
Yep.
Someone said you should have a shot of brandy.
Well, it's way over there. I'm in my recording studio. You want to come bring me one? That'd be great. I should train the dogs to do that. What am I thinking? That, yeah, it is what it is. It's okay.
They're singing the same theme song from Dirty Dancing in my head. I've had the time of my life.
Yeah. No, I've not had the time of my life yet.
This is a very random show, everybody. We are
Yes.
going to be all over the place because I think the energy is all over the place. Right?
The energy is all over the place, and it's going to unfortunately stay that a while. Probably another week.
Mhm.
What I've been hearing is there are different entities coming into our plane of existence now. And it's not necessarily from another planet, it's from another dimension.
Mhm.
They've not been here before. Last month we had a new entity, a new race coming through. Now this month it's the same thing. I'm told that's going to continue through May, where we're going to be bombarded by new energies we have not encountered thus far. But I'm also told that it is the same groups that were on this planet initially when Homo sapien initially started. And that's a whole other show, but that's what is affecting a lot of people right now are those entities and their energies that they are bringing with them.
Okay, so let me take this in a really deep direction really quickly.
Why not?
Why not? What you're saying basically is some of the star seeds that may have seeded Earth are starting to come back to Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah. And it's a bunch of beings that have not, they left and they stayed gone. Now, some of the beings that were here initially stayed here, went underground or sort of assimilated into humanity, but these were actually off the planet. So what has happened in the last, I don't know, 3,000 years or so, they're telling me more than that. Anyway, is that when dark entities came, they placed like a shield, like a boundary around the planet so that a lot of these higher beings could not get back. And now that has thinned to where they are coming back again.
So let me ask you this question then, because when like all my intuitive gifts came back in my 20s, the first thing that all came back was medical stuff, which is just so funny to me because that's not my background at all. So it sounds like one of the things, and I could be wrong, but one of the things they're saying in my head is that as these higher dimensional beings come back, it's shifting all our DNA, which is why so many people are getting sick or having a really hard time. And it's subtle shifts.
Right.
And if you're not used to like working that way, it can be very disconnecting.
Yeah.
And disjointed.
Absolutely.
So some of the people like who've been on the path for a while have already had some of these shifts, so they're not as affected. Well, now
Right.
they're affecting the majority of humanity, and which is why they said I had to read the thing about dark and light.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we've been at a precipice for a while as a species,
Mhm.
and we've been kind of trying to get back to where we need to be,
Mhm.
and realize that we're all connected, we're all one, and we we need to get back to that because we are all connected. There's a bajillion different things we can go into on how that's happening,
Mhm.
but it just suffice it to know that we are all connected. And some of the energies that are coming through right now are either convincing people we are all connected, or they're saying, nope, not happening. Nope, not true. No, 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 no. And that's what we're battling right
So again,
now.
the force is with you. Which direction in the force do you go?
Right.
Do you want to use the force for good, or do you want to use the force for evil?
Ow.
So it's just something to think about.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's something that we are all living right now. One of the interesting things that I belong to a lot of science groups. You can probably tell what a nerd I
And
am.
I do not.
But yeah, I'm truly a nerd, and I like to learn things. So when I started, I happened upon the show as a documentary about the God particle and all of these different physicists that have determined that quantum physics supports there being a God
Mhm.
or a divine spark or whatever name you want to use. They have determined that science supports that. So my mind immediately went to, where are these books? Who are these people? How fast can I get them into my house? And I've been kind of down the rabbit hole
Mhm.
into the scientific principles that support a divine central being. And it is truly fascinating. And once you go into it, it kind of explains everything. It explains why people are nuts around a full moon. It explains why some people like to get things started but don't necessarily want to, run the whole race, and why other people are those who want to finish things. And it was just intriguing to me. So all of that kind of supports everything we talk about on the show, which is interesting, about being mindful of what you put out into the universe, about we are all connected, about how important it is that people find their own truths. No matter what your truth is, if it's true for you, it's your truth. And instead of arguing with each other about what everyone believes, we should just realize that there is one central point that we did all come from, and we are all connected. It truly is. We are all entangled with each
Which
other.
then also explains like people who are mediums and
Yep.
can connect to people on the other side of the veil. And it's, and I used to see, did you ever watch any of the X-Men movies?
Hmm.
When the guy puts the helmet on and like everyone who's like a mutant lights up and he can see where they all are in the world. I used to see the grid of humanity like that. Like I
Yeah.
could see where everybody was and I could see who was playing with light and who was playing with dark by
Hmm.
how they lit up on the grid. Which I don't know if I should be talking about that in a show, but well, there you go. So, it's just really interesting because it changes how you then see the world and how you see your part in it, knowing that you're connected to everything that's happening.
Yeah.
And that
You know,
basically we're all just mirrors for each other.
right. We are. We are absolutely all mirrors for each other. When I was a kid, I could kind of see. Um, there are many children who say they fly. I was one of those kids where I could kind of get up above and look down, and I could see on a map where people were and where clusters of dark was and where the clusters of light were. And somewhere along the line, I stopped doing that. But I think right now, and what I hear constantly is be mindful of what you're putting out there,
Mhm.
because it truly, we are not necessarily going door to door like some bizarre religious cult saying, come join us. But at the same time, we need to be putting that energy out there so that people do wake up. They do see what's going on, and they do see how damaging it is that we've been so divided.
You know that's really true when a medical doctor says to you, you know, it's really important how you talk to yourself.
Yeah.
It affects your physiology. Now, this is a very respected doctor
Yep.
who has an amazing reputation. And I don't know if she's telling that to all her clients, but
Right.
you know, she had this conversation with me, and I'm like, well, yes, I'm very aware of that. Thank you. And you know, it's just something funny, you know, about how your energy affects other people.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I'll use myself as an example. Even though I can be an anxious mess internally, my external energy calms everyone down.
Yeah.
And so, like, wherever I go, everyone else feels calmer no matter how stressed I am. So I just think that that's really interesting, and I'm very aware of it, which is why I think there was a shift at the office when I was there today, because my energy hasn't been there. And when I left, I pulled all my energy from the building.
Right.
And so this is the first time that, because I've been there 2 days in a row, that, you know, my energy's now consistently been there for a couple days, and everyone's like, "Oh, I remember this. This felt good." So it's just funny. I was really thinking about that today.
Yeah. Someone was telling me about a counselor that they have hired
Mhm.
for a teenager. And this counselor, and when she was telling me counselor and all the credentials this woman had, I was like, because I know this particular teenager, and it didn't sound like a good fit. But then she started talking about, yeah, instead of sitting in an office, they go hiking, and they go through the the woods around there, the office, and they just talk, and they go by the pond, and I thought, why is not why are not all counselors doing this kind of stuff? Because doesn't that seem like a better way to connect?
I think it depends on the person that you, having been a therapist for a really long time, I think it depends on the person that you're working with.
Well,
There
yeah.
are times when I was doing individual sessions where I used more art and things like that, or had them write stuff and go over it opposed to talk therapy. So I think it just depends who you're working with. Some people that makes more uncomfortable.
Right, right. But in this particular case, it was like this particular counselor is the exact match of this particular teenager.
That's
How
perfect.
often does that happen?
Mhm.
Not very.
Yeah.
But it's good to see Western medicine kind of opening up a little bit. It's like there's the doors open just a crack, but maybe it's enough to start changing how we've always done things.
You know, and I know, and we've talked about this, but you know, I had some scares twice in the last 3 years where I got news that I didn't want to get. And I remember telling the doctor at the time, this doesn't work for me. The outcome isn't going to be what you say it's going to be. I have 3 weeks before you're doing the tests. And I said,
Right.
it's going to be a different outcome. And they're like, okay, lady. Um, you know, but again, like what the doctor said, it's where you put your energy. We're very, very powerful, and it's really important to think about how you talk to yourself and the messages that you get, because all physical illness starts outside the body,
Right.
and it's in our energy field. And depending how we continue to talk to ourselves and what we continue to do, it will eventually manifest in the physical body, because sometimes that's the only way we'll pay attention to it. So the choice is ours, as to talking about deep stuff today, apparently. The choice is ours as to how we want to manage all of that.
Right.
I used to have clients come in because I'm very familiar with the um, the chakras. So one of the first questions, in the type of program I worked in, I'm like, do you have any lower back pain?
Yeah.
Or do you have a lot of joint pain? And they're like, why are you asking me that? Because I'm like, well, that just means you have unresolved family issues So I would go about it from a different perspective. And, one of the research things that I read at the time is that people with addictions are blocked in their first three chakras, which, sorry, apparently I was at the office today where therapy takes place. So I'm my therapy hat on. But when you think about it, that makes perfect sense, right? So most people with addictions have trauma, or they don't buy into the system that they were brought up in, whatever it is. They don't know who they are in the world, which is their second chakra, and they don't have a sense of personal power. Your first three chakras. So it's just really interesting when you start looking at psychology from like the perspective of the chakra system, and how much information people will give you without them even knowing they're giving you any information.
Yep. Yeah.
So my clients were all fascinated by that. So it's always interesting.
You showed them something new, a different way to think.
Hmm. Apparently that's part of my path, right?
Yeah, definitely it is. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, those of you who are watching us, any questions that are coming up from anything that we've talked about so far, put it in the comment section and we will be happy to answer them. Or if there's something you want us to spend a whole show talking about, put it in the comment section and we will do that as well. Because we like to make sure that we're covering things that you guys also want to talk about. To
Yeah.
be honest, Kelly and I can have conversations for hours with
About
or
it.
without people watching the show. So we also want to, make sure that we're covering the things that you guys want to hear about.
Yeah. I think what they're telling me to do is go back to kind of what we were going to talk about, because it does tie into the energies, and that's the Galactic Federation that is here. They are here, on the planet. They have been working with different governments. A lot is about to come out, probably the end of this year. And the energies that they brought with them and some of the doors that they've opened are really messing with people. So just know you're not losing your mind. You're not going crazy. You're not, suddenly having anxiety and panic fits when you never have before. Now, if you're normal as you occasionally have anxiety, like I do, then it's different for you. But if you've never had anxiety, or you've never had ringing in your ears, or you've never seen flashes of things, your peripheral vision, it may really mess with you. And just know that it's going to happen. It's okay. You're not losing it. They really want to emphasize that people, you're not losing your minds. Apparently, they feel like a lot of fear is going to be accompanying this for a lot of people.
Is it okay if I paraphrase it a little bit?
Sure, go for it.
We're starting to lose our collective mind about what we've been processed to believe in order to become our authentic minds as to who we really are. Does that work?
Yeah. Yeah, the main thing that they want people to know is not to be afraid of it. They don't think that you're losing your mind. You're not. This is just moving forward like we have to do. We have to at this point.
Because there's a lot of transition coming to the earth in the next years. So this is just the beginning of it.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
And the hard part is, and we were talking a little bit about this before we came on, is that everyone we know has somebody knows somebody who's transitioning.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that happens as the planet shifts, as humanity shifts, as consciousness shifts, people who don't want to make the shift usually transition.
Yeah.
So you can always tell when there's a big shift coming. Usually there's natural disasters or something major happens where lots of people exit the planet quickly. And so I don't be surprised if you start seeing more of that again because we're in this part where the planet has to get lighter. It's too dense right now, so there's going to be a lot of transitioning.
Yeah.
It's going to seem almost unbearable at times with like every conversation you have with someone, they're going to say, I know somebody who's dying, or I know somebody who just died, or, so be prepared because when you're working with the light, a light worker or an energy worker, all those people are going to be drawn to you. You're going to become the beacon that everyone goes to. So it's also really important to have self-care for yourself as well and have people that you can go to that understand, because it's not that it's like a level system, but I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, we're being upgraded. If you're empathic, it's going to be brutal. You really have to find something that is soothing for you.
Mm.
I know so many people that have all of a sudden decided, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to start painting, or I'm going to write a book, or I'm going to, and it's always these creative things. And generally, those things are soothing for empaths.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever it is you're feeling, make sure you don't store it in your body.
Mm-hmm. So, just again, lots of interesting things going on. So, I guess this seems like a good point to kind of end today's podcast.
Yep.
So, again, if anything comes up or you want us to cover anything, please let us know. Please subscribe and like our channel. Please repost, share our videos. We could use some help with that these days. So, thank you all for being a part of this one, and we will see you guys in a couple weeks. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.